through his words. Dr. King was one of the most prominent and courageous leaders in standing up for civil rights in the history of this great nation. The progress he made in just a few short years laid the foundation and built the framework for the civil rights gains made to date. Despite the risks and the threats to him, he pursued civil rights for all who were oppressed. Dr. King's murder and tragic death marked a low point in our history. What a dark night it was in Memphis on April 4th, 1968. And although there were very distinct differences, we've been reminded time and again today that the tragedy that we experienced in recent days with the shootings in Arizona and how it has affected each of us as Americans. Such tragedy can bring out the best of us and the worst of us as we struggle to make a sense of such senseless and heinous acts. Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords is a leader who is simply doing what it is that we all do at the very core, the definition of being a public servant. She was reaching out to and listening to the people. And those who were injured and killed were simply participating in our most basic freedoms as Americans, exercising their right to be heard by their elected representatives. As we reflect on the events of that day in Tucson, let us remind ourselves of Dr. King's words once again. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. In the wake of the loss of 6 lives of our fellow Americans, I'm grateful to President Obama, who has also reminded us to remain focused on the good. I think his message would have been applauded by Dr. King, and so I believe it is fitting to share it with you today. President Obama said it best when at the memorial service for those who lost their lives, he told the audience, quote, "With all our imperfections, we are full of decency and goodness, and that the forces that divide us are not as strong as those that unite us." And he's right. A senseless act of violence cannot define us as a nation. Hate cannot stop the progress made by great leaders, nor can it stop the progress of what is right. I believe this is a good message to reiterate as we celebrate the life of Dr. King, a man who preached peace, and in fact a man whose name became synonymous with peace. Dr. King also led people to action. Perhaps this is why, in addition to a remembrance of Dr. King and a celebration of his life, today has been designated as a day of service. Whether or not you had already planned to do something, take a little time today. Figure out how you can help someone and be of service. Whether it's in a big way or a small way, such actions reflect a tremendous way to honor his legacy. Help a neighbor, read to a child, provide a coat to someone who's cold, make a financial contribution to your favorite cause, whatever the cause may be. Find an opportunity to be of service to your fellow man today. In closing, as your mayor, I value the fact that Albuquerque is a community known for celebrating and embracing diversity. We must continue to make progress, and we must build on Dr. King's teaching and on his legacy. Locally and on a global scale, we must be vigorous in our pursuit of equality for us all. Thank you. God bless you all, and God bless America.